It's Sunday, April 23rd, 2023. This is the Pound for Pound MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
And my name is Mason Knight. This is episode 162, Pavlovich versus Blaydes recap. After that, we jump to some MMA news, and then we talk about the highly anticipated Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone preview show. But before we do all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, Mason. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at P4P MMA Pod. Guys, if you are not following us already, make sure you go and do it. And also, subscribe down below. Is everything okay? Oh, it's like he just gets up. I was like, oh shit, what happened? No, anyways, guys, go follow us over there, our social media accounts. Okay, it's down below. Follow us there. Also, subscribe down below if you have not already, whether you're watching on YouTube or any of your other platforms of choice. Also, guys, if you've done all that already, take the 2 seconds, go make a Rumble account. Go to our Rumble, follow us over there. We're going to start posting content over there. We need to hit 25 followers, 25 subscribers before we could go live on Rumble. We would love to start live streaming on Rumble once more. Also, very excited to say that we did it, boys. We finally did it. We broke the losing streak. We have been on a streak of taking big fat L's left and right for the last several weeks, Mason.
Yes.
We haven't made shit for money. And then we didn't think we were going to make anything yesterday. We had a pretty shit day overall, I would say.
Yeah, I was pretty irritated over the course of yesterday. You know, it's my one day off. I'm really excited. Just wanted to go to the casino with the boys, play some bets, have a good time. And we get there, and, you know, obviously the whole sports book is down. And they're saying that it's nationwide on all reservations throughout the United States. Someone hacked it, blah, blah, blah. We don't know what the hell went on. So we're just sitting there, not being able to place bets. We're fiending, you know. We just wanted to have some fun. And then we end up going to dinner, and then we walk out of dinner, and we're able to bet on the main event. We all bet first round KO by Pavlovich because historically Blaydes has a lot of problems. We'll get into that fight a little later. And we all hit that. But I do feel bad for Devin too. Devin was there as well, and he had a parlay. He had a parlay that would have hit had the sports book been up. And of course, the 1 week that we all have great parlays, great bets, we would have won so much money.
If I was able to bet on that fight, I would have won this.
Yeah.
All night.
All night. So it is devastating for us, but it is what it is. That's sometimes the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it is what it is. We did get in before the main event though. So we hit on that first round KO by Sergey. Shout out to Ron. I think we should just get right into it. Main event as always, guys. Let's start at the top. Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blaydes, first round KO for Pavlovich. I think a lot of people were saying that, you know, the way for Sergey to get the win is blitzkrieg him and get him turned into a brawl, which is what he did, dude. Like, shout out to Curtis Blaydes. I see what you're saying here, Teron Brown. You know, Blaydes was a fool for standing with Sergey. Should have went for the takedown. Like, we'll get into that. But, I mean, at the same time, Blaydes was landing really nice shots on Sergey. A lot. And, like, I thought he actually hurt Sergey multiple times. Like, these boys were standing in the pocket and fucking banging. And it was only a matter of time till that power in the chin by Sergey as well. Like, I don't know, man. I don't want to shit too much on Blaydes for not shooting for the takedown. Like, that fight was fucking incredible from start to finish as long as it lasted there.
Yeah, it was a good fight, and it was fun to watch. And we bet on Pavlovich first round KO, so I'm very happy. But what I'll say on the side of Blaydes is this is exactly why I bet for Pavlovich. And again, I do not want to shit on Blaydes because, like, Curtis Blaydes is one of the best heavyweights not to get an opportunity at a title shot. He really is.
Right.
He is a phenomenal mixed martial artist. He mixes it up really well. He's got good striking. He really does. For a guy who has historically been a grappler, his hands are pretty sharp. The wrestling is there.
Well, the striking has improved a lot.
It really has. The
like
ground
last night,
and pound
he's a lot.
is fucking insane from this guy. I mean, what he did to Uberim, I mean, he left a permanent scar on his face. I mean, do you remember he cut him up bad, dude?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a great fighter. I just didn't understand the strategy going into this fight with a guy like Pavlovich, who before this fight, now this is 6 in a row, but prior to this fight, had 5 first-round finishes in a row. And then you go out there and you try to
just
stand
go to
and
war
bang.
with him.
It's kind of the same thing with like a Max Holloway, where it's like, Arnold Allen didn't try to shoot, didn't try to take him down. And I'm like, why? Why try to beat someone at their own game? We saw Pavlovich lose one time in the UFC, and that was his debut, ironically enough, to Uberim, where Oobs was on top and just pummeled him and was able to get the victory. Since then, Pavlovich has been perfect. And I wish Curtis would have tried more. He tried one time. It was like a half-hearted attempt to take him down. But
probably after he was stunned already because he was
Yeah.
just standing in the fucking pocket.
But he definitely could have just grappled with them, maybe brought him up against the fence and try to implement some dirty boxing and then go for a single or a double leg takedown. There just wasn't enough of it. He wanted to stand and bang, and for that he paid the ultimate price.
I got
really
a question for you guys. After this pretty exquisite win by Pavlovich, do you guys? I personally think he should just get the next shot. Do you guys think he should fight one more time, or just get a shot? And then, if he does fight another time, do you think it should be someone like Gon? Because I think that'd be a pretty great matchup, considering Gon's pretty good overall in every aspect, and is got pretty good footwork. So maybe Pavlovich, I think that'd be one of his harder fights, especially Gon's kickboxing. So how do you guys feel about that?
Gon's his worst matchup in the entire heavyweight division outside of like John Jones. Like, let's be real. But I don't know, man. I think he deserves a title shot. Like, if Curtis Blaydes would have beat Sergey, he would have been arguing for a title shot next. Like,
100%.
I think he deserves it. But is that what's going to happen? I don't know, because I'm not going to be surprised, man, if once we finally get John Jones versus Stipe, if that's both of those men's last fight.
Well,
they both retire.
John Jones was kind of talking about, wouldn't it be spectacular if I beat Stipe and at MSG or whatever? That was my retirement fight.
Wouldn't it be if I beat the best heavyweight ever to ever do it in my home state and then walk away afterwards? I would not be shocked if that's what happened. So Sergey is in a position where he might be able to get an immediate vacant title shot, whether it's against Gon. I'm going to be honest. You know who I really want to see fight, but he's going to have to come back and fight someone else first. I want to see him fight Tom Aspinall, because I think Gon and Tom Aspinall are probably the only two guys right now that could fucking take this behemoth down outside of John Jones.
Do you think John Jones has a? Do you think he's just going to implement the clinch work in wrestling and not just stand and bang with Pavlovich, who is obviously a fantastic boxer? Because I feel like that would be John's only weak point against Pavlovich, is just getting into a war with him, which he usually doesn't do. But he could get that, first round KO against Jones. I don't think that'll happen because John's IQ is obviously through the roof. But do you see that being a one-sided fight or even, or how do you see that going?
Go ahead.
Oh, I got nothing to say.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, I mean, I do like that fight, but here's what has been kind of going through my mind as far as like John Jones, Pavlovich, and what's going to happen to this heavyweight division. Pavlovich has won 6 fights in a row, first round finishes. That is insane. That is crazy. I know John Jones says he wants to retire against Stipe Miocic. Okay. That would be fine. I'd be okay with that. So if he went out there and beat Stipe and wanted to retire, that's fine. But you know who that opens the door for? If he could just humble up a little bit and apologize.
Francis
Ngannou, Pavlovich. Okay, because Stipe is going to retire, win or loss, against John Jones. And then if John wants to retire, he can retire as well. You set up a mega fight like that. Now, Francis Ngannou probably not going to get an immediate title shot. You'll probably do a Gon first, which I'm fine with because, he's got some bridges to rebuild after burning them down all to the ground. But I would love to see, and I don't think John Jones' story is done just by beating Stipe Miocic. I really don't, because there's that asterisk there of Stipe being a little bit older. John went out there and beat Gon. That's great, but Gon's not one of the best heavyweights in the world. He goes out there, beats an older Stipe. Okay, but if then you go out there and beat Pavlovich, the up-and-coming stud in this heavyweight division, I think you pretty much three wins, 2 defenses with your heavyweight belt.
You don't think Gon's one of the best heavyweights in the world?
No, I don't.
Oh.
No,
I do. I think he's easily one of the best. I mean, the top.
I think he was. I think he was exposed in that fight. You want to talk about one of the top 5?
He's still a top 3, top
artists?
4 guy. Like, yeah, he might. There's levels in between those top 4 guys, but I mean, he's still a top guy in the world. Like, I can't think of many guys in the division that could beat Gon. Maybe Blaydes. maybe
I would say
Sergey.
Blaydes. I would say
So I mean, I'd say
Sergey.
he's a
I would
top
say
5
Tom
guy.
Aspinall would beat him.
Okay, Tom
with
Aspinall, yeah. So I
takedowns.
mean, he's a top 5, top 6 guy still.
Okay, yeah, he's top 5, top 6, but I don't think he's a world beater. Like, so
I don't think he's a champion.
Right. So we're gonna say that John Jones beating Gane solidifies him as the best heavyweight in the world. That's the point I'm trying to make, guys. I'm not saying he's not a top guy.
I mean, that
I'm
was kind of the conversation going into prior, I guess, to the Ngannou loss. If he beat, people were kind of agreeing that if he beat Gane, who was like the top G at the time in the heavyweight division, besides the Ngannou loss, if he beat him, then yeah, he was already, he's already the greatest fighter in the world. But beating him would have just solidified that. That's kind of what I remember the conversation being. But I do get your point.
Correct.
If he beats,
specific, again, it's more specific heavyweight division than the best fighter in the world. We all know John Jones is the best fighter in the world. That's
yeah. I was saying heavyweight division with Gane.
But for me, beating Gane does not then make you the greatest heavyweight in the world. See, John has so many lanes and avenues of being the greatest of all time, of legacy, where it's like light heavyweight champion of the world, greatest of all time. Fighter in general, pound for pound, greatest fighter of all time. But he's got this third lane, this third avenue now where he's trying to become the greatest heavyweight of all time. And I think when you go down that path, beating Gane for the interim belt, or not for the interim belt, but for the vacated belt, was great. Awesome. That's a really good stepping stone. Then you fight Stipe, beat Stipe. That's boom. I mean, that's the best heavyweight. But then you go and you beat the guy who has knocked everyone else out in the first round, that up-and-coming prospect. That's a trifecta right there for me. And that's a win the title, defend it 2 times, and then you ride off into the
Would
sunset.
you? So if he beat Stipe, would you consider him the best heavyweight since he beat the best heavyweight, or no?
Or should he have to beat Stipe's record? Because Stipe holds the record for the
3
consecutive. Yeah. So I mean, wins the belt against Fabricio Verdum, beats Overeem, beats DeSantos, beats Ngannou, and then lost it to Cormier. So I mean, 3 defenses.
Well, here's
4 title fights, victories in a row. If he does that, was like obviously that would be it. And I think he could if he wanted to stick around for an extra year.
Yeah, but I cannot say someone is the greatest heavyweight of all time if they've only had 2 fights in heavyweight.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't do it. Even though let's say he goes out there and beats Stipe. Even if he goes out there and beats Stipe, I can't be like, wow, John Jones, 2 fights, greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah,
I just can't do it.
I understand your point. I kind of agree with you.
Mhm.
It's just before Francis, Stipe was considered the greatest heavyweight of all time. So if you beat the best, kind of are the best, right?
I think Stipe is still the greatest heavyweight of all time as of right now.
But I think if John goes out there, beats Stipe, beats
essentially
Pavlovich,
you
and
just
let's say Ngannou comes back and he beats Ngannou, he beats all of them.
That's it, yeah.
Then that's it. That is
basically
a wrap, Jack.
You'd pretty much be convinced if he beat Stipe that he was the greatest, but just beating Pavlovich would just be the cherry on top. Is kind of what you're saying. Or no?
I think Francis beating Stipe didn't immediately make him the greatest heavyweight ever. Then he beat Gane. That really solidified right there for his legacy. But then he walks away. John's going to beat Stipe, and then I think he should defend it 1 or 2 more times, and then consensus, he's the GOAT. Period. Forever. Imagine being able to do that.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
That's where I sit.
Yeah.
Maybe
let's bring it back.
Mason's
to
just a little bit salty at John Jones and just wants him to have more adversity.
Let's bring it back to Pavlovich.
Because I want to see him fight more. That's a weird statement to make. Yeah, I'm so salty. I never want to see this guy fight. What? No, I'm encouraging him, John, continue your career. I love to watch this guy fight. And you know what? All is forgiven with John. John, you know what? I've come to terms that when you're as great of an athlete or as a superstar as you are, I will forgive you time and time again. Yeah, I will get really mad when you mess up again. But hey, all is forgiven because you're incredible. And sometimes we just forgive bad behavior when people are incredible at what they do.
Michael Jackson.
I mean, well, we're not forgiving, but we're not forgiving.
No, let's no. Let's move on. Okay,
forgiving.
Sergey Pavlovich. Give him Gane next.
Fuck
it. Why not give him Gane next? Or Francis if he comes back.
You know what I say? I say if Stipe is not ready in July, baby, because I'm going to International Fight Week, give John Jones Pavlovich.
Well, that's not happening.
They're already moving that to November.
But does John want to fight Pavlovich right now? Because I think he's dead set on Stipe. That timeline would work out if Stipe isn't ready and John is ready to fight.
If John really
I do
wanted to,
think
he could, but he's not
yeah,
going
I don't
to.
think I think he only wants Stipe, which I
Yeah.
get. So in that case, I think making the Gon Pavlovich fight makes the most sense here, even if he does deserve a shot after this win.
But do you guys still believe Gon's a number 1 contender?
I mean, he's number
Well,
2 in the world right now.
That'd be Stipe, though, right?
He's number 2 in the world right now. Cyril Gahn's number 1 in the world right now.
Oh,
He's above Stipe in the rankings.
well,
I don't get that.
Because he was interim champ while Stipe was out. So I mean, that kind of makes sense. But at the same time, you know,
I think you just do the Gon matchup because the timeline makes sense, and then you give him a shot after that.
do the Gon matchup, and if he beats Gon, you know, he's automatic number 1 guy. He can wait for the next shot. All right, but let's move on to coins. So I had Pavlovich 2,000 coins on him, gave me a return of 2,800 because he was a plus 140 dog there. Also had Pavlovich KO TKO 500. I was a plus 150, so it gave me 750 return.
Yeah, it's Sergey 500 got me 700 back. Sergey KO 200, I got 300 back.
All right, let's move on to Brad Tavares, Bruno Silva. This was fast. Bruno just looked sharp, man. Real sharp. And when he landed that combination, it was absolutely devastating for Brad there. And very quick for the ref to get in there and to save Brad from himself. He was very upset for the stoppage. He thought he was perfectly fine, but no, that guy was done.
No, he was out.
A couple more shots, he would have been out cold.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good stoppage by the ref. Great fight by Bruno Silva.
Yeah, got it done early, too. I mean, good rebound, good bounce back from that last loss. So,
Brad's a tough guy, too. So,
yeah,
knocking
he is.
him out's a big deal.
A lot of finishes on this card. I feel like it was
Yeah.
an overall pretty great card for any casual.
Yeah, I
For
thought it was
sure.
an awesome card, honestly, from top to bottom, or from bottom to top, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I had Tavares 300, lost that.
All right, and I had Silva. He was a plus 135. Had the dog at 500 there. Gave me a return of 675. Going to move on to Bobby Green, and Jared Gordon. Oh, how unfortunate! Because this was a great fight, man.
It was.
This was a fantastic matchup. Bobby was pushing Jared against the fence, and Bobby had Jared on some skates. But man, that's what happens with that southpaw.
Kind of went exactly how I expected.
Exactly. Well, yeah, a lot of people
Except
did.
I was expecting Gordon to go for more takedowns.
Yeah, he didn't really get the chance. Bobby had those hands low. He was ready for that. But, you know, this is what happens when you get those southpaws and those standard guys, you know.
Yeah.
Those heads clashes a lot, and there was definitely a head clash. Paul was pretty pissed. I'm not going to lie. Listen to the commentary. I went back and rewatched this.
Felder?
Paul Felder. Sorry. Paul Felder was pretty pissed because Jared's his boy. You know, so he was real upset there. He goes, "Oh my God, no, that's a no cut!" Started screaming as he's doing commentary, and I'm sure some people online roasted him for that. But you know, it is what it is. You know, you see your boy get knocked out like that, and then they ended up doing the right thing, and it was a no contest. But it's really unfortunate for both men here in this situation because you know, Bobby finished him. You know, he finished him on the ground, but what led to that was that headbutt. So it just sucks for both guys.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens in the sport. It's pretty rare, but when it does happen, it is super unfortunate. But it was fun all the way up until you know, I would have been real mad. I would have been real mad because my 3-fight prop KO bet won. So the Bruno Silva, Pavlovich, and then Bobby Green. So had the sportsbook not been down, this fight would have irritated the hell out of me that it was a no contest. But yeah, no, it was a good fight, and Bobby did exactly what we thought he was going to do. I thought he looked sharper on the feet, was pressing the pace more. Jared was doing his best, but Jared definitely was not going to get knocked out had it not been for the headbutt. That is when he dropped. So, like, I understand 100%, and I do agree with this, why it's a no contest, as hard as it is to see. But it's just super unfortunate. You know, Jared Gordon gets absolutely robbed against Paddy Pimblett, and now he's got a no contest with a headbutt. The guy's just bad luck right now, or has bad luck, I should say. And I do feel for him a bit, but it is what it is. Hopefully they can redo this card, maybe for International Fight Week, maybe throw it on a early prelim. That'd be a lot of fun.
So how do you feel
100%.
about in positions like these when there's a no contest and you didn't lose, but you also didn't win for your win bonus? Do you feel like they should get a portion of that, or they kind of just
Didn't
get
win.
screwed over?
You didn't win, man.
You didn't win. So, I mean, but they should at least pay them.
That's what
you get
I'm
paid
saying.
your show.
Yeah, you got to get paid for show.
You get paid for show, and then you get paid to win, but you just get paid to show. Then you're only, you know, essentially getting, because you're gunning for your full purse, and you didn't get your full purse. In cases like this, should they give them like 10% or 20% of?
I mean, that'd be real nice, but I mean, it's UFC, baby. They're still only getting what, like fucking 12% of the whole revenue. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't really
till
know.
they fucking stand up for themselves. You know, it is what it is. Didn't win, so it sucks for both men. Yeah, hopefully they remake this, or Bobby just gets another fight.
All right, the next fight. This is going to be really easy to break down.
Yeah, we both had
Yasmin,
Gordon, by the way.
Lucindo. Yes, Gordon, by the way. Yasmin, Lucindo, Brogan, Walker. Lucindo literally
Start to finish.
Just walked right through
Walked
her.
her up. Yeah. Start to finish. Dominant performance there. That was an easy bet to make. And one you and I both did. She looked fantastic. You know, first win in the UFC after that UFC debut against Yasmin. And that was one of the best fights last year.
She did get tagged a couple times, but I feel like she's got a really bright future going ahead.
Yeah, she does. She's 20 or 21.
20 or something. Like
Yeah.
in the next 5 years, I see her being in the top 10 easily if she keeps this pace up.
Yeah, she impressed the hell out of me.
I would love to see a
again.
fight between her and Andrade. I don't know why. I just feel like that'd be a really, really
I
great
say
fight.
give her some time.
No, not right now.
Yeah,
I'm
down the
saying
road.
in the future.
Yeah.
No, throw her to the wolves.
Yeah,
This is
just
UFC.
literally give her top 4, after 2 fights.
Why not?
But,
That's what they did to Pereira.
Yeah, no joke. All right. Well,
Yeah, we
shout
both
out
took
to
her.
you, Yasmin. Lucindo, what a fight. I mean, phenomenal performance, really good. And I put 200 on her, got a return of 66 coin.
All right. Yeah, I put 500 on her, get a return of 166. Let's move on to the Jeremiah Wells and Matthew Selensberger fight. I'm not going to lie. Like, as good of a fight as it was, and I want to talk about Jeremiah Wells before I move on to Matthew. Jeremiah was extremely tough, man, because he got hurt early in the first round, early in the second, early in the third. He got hurt in every single round by those punches by Selensberger, but every single time he found a way to get a takedown, and he would put Matthew on his butt, and he found a way to win those rounds. And he found a way to survive, dude, because like he almost got knocked out multiple fucking times.
I would have liked to see more submission attempts from him on the ground.
He didn't do as much on the ground as he probably should have, but he had all
which is why I think it came down to a split decision. I don't think you could even have it as a split decision, to be honest.
Yeah, it should have been at the very most
majority.
Because,
I mean, when Selensberger's on the ground I don't know how much control time he had. I would assume about 10 minutes or more. It's hard to give someone a win on that.
I don't know how you fucking gave 2 rounds to Matthew there. You could maybe give him the first, but I mean, 2 of the judges had it 30-27 Jeremiah. And that's what I personally would have had it. I mean, he almost knocked him out multiple times there. But at the same time, 3 minutes out of all 3 of those fucking rounds, Jeremiah was on top. It is what it is, man. Like, I thought that was kind of a crazy that one judge gave it to Matthew. On Matthew's side, like, dude, what the fuck? You had this guy almost finish multiple times and you never really pulled the trigger. You were trying to stay accurate. You were trying to stay precise and pinpoint. This dude was on skates a lot of the time. And he was allowing Jeremiah Wells to recover, and then Jeremiah would shoot for the takedown, and he would get it. It was really hard to watch.
Especially in that first
rooting
round.
for Selensberger there.
Yeah, especially in that first round. I really thought it was over.
Yeah.
So I was shocked that he didn't try to finish it more, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Learning experience, I suppose. But yeah, I picked Sellenberger for 200 and lost that. Tabor, you had Wells for 500 and won 370. Let's talk about parlays. My parlay was really small this week. I went Lucindo and Sergey. I think I initially had Simone, but that fight got pulled. Well, not pulled, but moved to next weekend, main event. So that was a plus 220 parlay on a 2-fight parlay and hit for 1,100.
All right.
So the judge Eric Cullen and Junitrio Kamijo gave, 30-27, 30-27 for Wells. And then Rick Winter had it round 1 for Matthew, round 2 for Matthew, and then round 3 for Wells, which, like you said, he got rocked pretty early on in the first round, but I don't know. So I could kind of see how you maybe give Matthew that round, but for the second round, I don't really see that happening because he was on his back for at least three minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could see control time or anything like that on here, but
yeah, it is what it is. That's wild to me. The judges sometimes just fucking shock the shit out of me. But my parlay was a 2-fight as well after Simone dropped out and Pavlovich and Gordon didn't hit. All right, let's move on to some MMA news. We alluded to it a little bit earlier about Francis possibly returning to the UFC. So there's been a lot of news about Francis this last week. I've seen a lot of people making videos about it. Apparently, Francis has gone to multiple organizations now, and he's starting to negotiate with all these MMA organizations. It's sounding like the boxing opportunity has come and gone. It's sounding like he has had dinners with guys like Wilder and his team, and it sounds like they couldn't get that deal done. Maybe he's been in communication with Fury's team also. Now Fury's looking at that Usyk fight, which, as he should be, that's probably the biggest payday he can get. So that Fury fight's dead now. And Francis Ngannou's negotiating power every day he waits is dying. It's dwindling day by day. He is no longer the UFC champion. He can no longer say that. They can no longer say, hey, this is the guy from MMA, the best MMA fighter in the world versus me. Because now he has John Jones out there with the heavyweight belt.
I don't think, even if he did, Dana would allow him back in the UFC. And I don't think Francis would apologize for anything, because in his mind, he was right. So I think you have... Surprise is going to be the death of you in both cases. So I don't see him coming back to the UFC. I think he should just go to like PFL and win.
Well, he's talking to them. He's in communications with them. He the guy from BKFC came out and said that Francis was asking for like $40 million, which is fucking ridiculous. He's like, dude, I can't do that.
All the organization's money. It's like you're not. Yeah, you're not dealing with the UFC. You're dealing with smaller organizations.
He might have he has to go if he wants to come back to the UFC, which he might have to. He might have no choice but to go to like a PFL or UFC.
I think he's got enough.
He's got to apologize.
I think he's got enough money to not stress his whole life, but I don't see him coming back to the UFC. I think he might as well just stick it out and try to get a boxing fight, whether it's some lower name, and build up, because I think that's the only way. He's not going to get the biggest money fight right out of the gate, unfortunately, in my mind.
Well, those opportunities have passed, I think.
Well, and that's the issue. That's the issue with Ngannou. He botched this in every which way possible. You're the UFC heavyweight champion, and you have that leverage. You have the belt. You have everything. You're the king of the world. You essentially relinquish your belt and don't have another fight lined up, but you're also asking for astronomical money. It just wasn't smart all the way around. I mean, everything that he did just made no sense. And now he's got to put his tail between his legs and walk back, and hopefully he gets signed with the UFC for way less money.
I don't see it. They're going to offer him like $50K to show.
But here's the thing. Like, yeah, I agree with that. But where else is he going to get paid? I mean, the best case scenario, I think we can agree now at this point, is PFL, and he's got to go out there and win $1 million.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
He'll make more money in the UFC if he signs back.
Yeah,
I just don't think that they offered him the utmost they were willing to, and he kind of just said,
75 dinners. He had 75. Think about that, 75 meetings with Hunter Campbell, and it was so bad that something that never happens in the organization, like this, doesn't happen unless you're Conor McGregor or like a fucking megastar. Which Francis is that now. Is he as big as Conor? No, I'm not saying that, but he's a star. He's one of the biggest stars the UFC had. So Dana White comes to one of these dinners. That's one of their last ones they had. And Hunter Campbell gave him an even bigger offer. Francis still said no. So Dana White went aside and gave him a personal offer. This doesn't happen, I guess. This never happens. But Dana has that kind of power. He could just go, okay, Hunter's deal sucks. I'm going to give you a personal one right near. That was astronomical. It would have made him the second highest paid athlete in the UFC ever.
Do you think
he'd be higher paid? He'd make more money than John Jones. He'd make more money than Adesanya. All these guys besides Conor McGregor. He would have been the second highest paid athlete ever with Dana's new deal.
Do you think
he said no?
Do you think it's Ngannou or Ngannou's team?
I think it's Ngannou himself.
That's failing him,
because he was asking for things like, I want healthcare for all UFC fighters. Like, dude, you don't do that with your own fight contract negotiations. You can't negotiate for everybody when you're trying to do that shit. He was asking for things like that. He was asking for like 30 or 40. He was asking for guaranteed boxing fights. Like, you can't do that. Like, you just can't do that.
Got to start his own fucking whiskey company and become the next McGregor, and then he can do that. You just can't.
Here's the reality of it too. I do agree that Ngannou will make more money in the UFC, and let me explain why. Okay. The UFC is not going to be friendly, maybe, to Ngannou when he first comes back. Maybe they give him $100,000 for his first fight, and he's got to go out there and prove that he can win. And guess what? He's probably not going to get an immediate title shot. They're probably going to throw him to a Gane, or stylistically his worst matchup possible, whether that be a Pavlovich, whether that be a Curtis Blaydes, which Curtis Blaydes he already beat twice. But yeah, Tom Aspinall. Like, we're talking about guys who can also wrestle, also implement some jiu-jitsu, and maybe some up-and-coming heavyweight by the time this actually gets done, right? So they're going to give him that. They're going to give him bottom line money. But at the end of the day, if Ngannou does what his job is, and that is to go out there and win the fight, then guess who he has backing him? He has the UFC fans backing him. And I am sorry. I don't care how much shit the UFC has gone through with Francis Ngannou. If he goes out there and wins some more, then all of the UFC fans are going to be calling for a title shot. And that's where Ngannou can then now negotiate for better contracts again. But maybe this time, don't be so arrogant about it and take the best deal that you can get. But I do agree with Tabor. Like, I know he's a good person. He's a good human being, and he wants to have health insurance for everyone. And the heart is there. The heart's right. And I really do feel that. I feel like Ngannou is a beautiful human being. I feel like he cares about other people. But dude, at some point, like, make your money, retire from the UFC, and then take that money and maybe start a union or something like that. There's other ways outside of what you're trying to do right now to help people, because he is such a good person. But go out there, make that FU money like Floyd Money Mayweather, and then maybe start a union out of that, or do something out of that.
Yeah, the thing is, he really essentially just tried to unionize UFC, which no one likes. Well, fighters might like it, but no, that just wasn't going to happen.
Your average fighter likes it. Your stars, I don't think, do.
Because they want all the money, which if you're the top dog and you're champ and you get pay-per-view, then yeah, you want that. But I personally don't see Francis ever fighting again unless it's like a YouTube fucking promoter boxing fight.
I agree with that. I think the only way Francis ever comes back to UFC is one, he takes a lesser deal and he has to apologize.
Yeah,
and
I don't know if he's going to.
He's not going to. Dana's not going to give him a deal, and Francis isn't going to apologize.
They'll give him a deal if he apologizes.
But
it's not going to be the deal he wants.
I feel like they won't, because Dana seemed more upset about this than anything, and it was a year-long process. I personally do not see it happening at all. Kind of like Mason said, great guy. I just think he burned all his bridges, and pride's going to be the death of him. He's not going to apologize, and Dana's not going to give him a contract. So I think arguing or debating about it with people is kind of pointless. I think his path is just to start his own organization or just try to do like a YouTuber boxing fight and just knock people out, because he wants big money. I don't think for himself. I think for he wants to distribute that to his family, friends, and team. But I just don't see that happening unless he just starts doing small boxing promotions.
I agree with you 100%. But this whole conversation started with is his star power was diminishing day by day. He needs to strike now.
Yeah.
He needs to strike now. He needs to get a fight done.
He needs to get something done. Some sort of deal done. And not only that, but how old is he? 38?
Yes.
I think Francis Ngannou was 38.
He's not young. He needs to do something now. Whether that's PFL, bare knuckle boxing, or just a YouTube boxing fight,
36.
It doesn't fucking matter. Like, he needs to strike now.
I just don't see any deal getting worked out because of the money he wants. So I think most things that are presented to him or his team are just going to be struck down because they feel that it's just not enough.
Then he's never going to make another dollar.
Exactly, is my point. I just don't see him fighting ever again with the amount of money that he wants, and he's not going to be willing to fight for nothing. And
so he might be
relative.
Fucked. He might be fucked.
So I think he's done for good.
I think he could get something done, but he just every day he waits, he's going to be more.
I mean, he was betting on that Fury fight, and that was going to make him buku bucks.
And I think he realized those guys are fucking around.
Yeah,
like it's really hard to get those fights done, and it is what it is now. But yeah, all right. Hopefully Francis gets it figured out. Love to see him back in the octagon if that was the case. But let's move on to other MMA news. So there was a video. Nate Diaz was in New Orleans, got into an altercation with another boxer's team. I don't even know this guy's fucking name, but he threw a water bottle at him apparently at the Misfits boxing promotion.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Spilled out into the streets and he choked out. Everyone's like, oh my God, Nate Diaz choked out Logan Paul. No, it was just some dude who like looks exactly like Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of dude that like has a certain look and goes, I could look just like this guy if I did this. Like that guy looked exactly like Logan Paul.
He's been on Logan
He did that
Paul,
on purpose.
Podcast too.
So he does that for social media, probably.
Dude, okay, there's one.
And Nadia's choked that guy out.
I clicked on the Impulsive podcast, and I hadn't watched Logan Paul in a long time. And this guy opens the show, and I'm like, and he's literally doing like Logan Paul impersonation like perfectly. And he's introing the show, and I'm like looking at the TV, and I know I have my glasses on. I'm like, what the fuck? That's the Logan Paul, but there's something different.
His
was like,
long
what the
lost
fuck is
sibling that
going
his
on?
father didn't tell him about.
Yeah, dude. And I'm like, that is Logan, but what the hell? And then come to find out, and then they switch off camera like 5 seconds later, come right back, and then it's actually Logan Paul. And I go, whoa. What the fuck is going on with my TV? And then come to find out they switched him.
I
But,
think
yeah, he does look a lot like him. It's weird.
the no press is bad press kind of applies here to Diaz because this is only going to help promote that boxing fight between
Oh
him
yeah,
and Logan.
for sure.
So
But I mean, he's choking random dudes out in the fucking street,
I know.
and then the dude's slamming his head against the concrete. Like,
That's
my
just-
God, that's just
When
crazy.
the
Like,
guy posted a video afterwards being like, yeah, Nate Diaz, look at my scar. And I'm
he's like,
thinking,
just skull just cracked
Yeah.
open. He's like,
you
what
know,
the
I don't
fuck?
know how lucky Nate Diaz is getting where none
This
of
is
these
so
people
crazy. I've
are
died.
pressing, or have died
Like,
or
dude,
have
get
pressed
choking
charges.
dude out, and he just head slams against the concrete. Like, okay.
Okay, but I totally agree with that. But it's like, what are you doing confronting Nate Diaz on the street?
Well, to be
Oh,
fair,
yeah.
he was like this. Like, he didn't want to. If you watch the video, dude, he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then Nate kind of was like, let's talk to 209, 209.
No, you're right. But it's like, don't go outside. You know what's going to happen. I'm not going to go outside and fight Mike Tyson. I know what's going to happen.
Bro,
That's silly.
Yeah. Well,
I
apparently he
don't
was
think-
with his
Like,
boxer's
you- like,
crew, and
like,
it was
you
a
know,
brawl or whatever.
If you
so-
go outside to fight Masvidal or you have a problem, dude, just don't go. You know it's just going to cause issues. We know that. I just
So
don't think
you're
it's
saying I
smart.
shouldn't interview Jorge Masvidal or Nate Diaz?
If they see your videos, probably not. But maybe if you get on your knees and be like, it's just a prank.
him.
I'm sorry.
Bro,
He's
I'm
like,
not-
Jorge, I'll let you sucker punch me. He's like, okay.
Fuck no, dude. I'm not letting that guy sucker punch me. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not hitting my head. I'm not bouncing my head off of concrete. No, thank you.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Like,
Oh, well,
Nate,
that's
my
just
guy, like, chill.
unfortunate.
Like, just make your money before you get fucking sued out
It's
there.
just like
Well, that's what
I disagree. Or sorry,
You
it's
disagree
not.
with the chilling.
No, I understand that it's not a great thing, but it's like
It's definitely not a good thing.
it's not a great thing. Shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, what did you expect from Nate Diaz? Is my thing. It's like, why would you even try? Why would you even go outside? Why do you not have your
You're
team
trying to.
with you?
You're trying to apply logic to an illogical situation.
It's
Like,
very,
there's
it's
like,
very,
we have
very illogical.
we have like retard alerts on both sides here. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like there was no good outcome coming out of this. Like, there's a completely illogical situation. Like, it's just dumb.
You're right.
You're
I was
also
being
looking
too
at a guy.
logical.
You're also looking. You got to look at the way like Nate Diaz was his upbringing too. Like he's gonna do that. Like
But that's my point.
He is authentic.
But
he is genuine. Like,
That's my point. Is don't
do that.
don't do that.
Don't
but
go up
that's-
to
it's in
don't
his
go up
blood,
to a
it's
pro
in his
fighter.
nature. You
No,
can't just
no,
go to a
no,
wild animal and
no,
be
the
like,
other-
"Don't be a
No,
wild animal."
no. The other guy. It's like
The
I
other
know
guy, don't attack
you-
a cheetah because you're fucking
you
stupid.
you
That
don't
thing will
even
kill
have
you.
beef really with
Oh well, yeah, that's obvious. Yeah.
with Nate Diaz. It's
Right.
like the other boxer or whatever. But as the whole team,
Yeah, don't
you,
even
you
get- don't even try
get
to
it. Is
separate
what I'm
things.
I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like they've gotten into disagreements with other teams backstage at UFC events
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So I'm saying that you knew this was a possible outcome. Just kind of let it go. Someone throws
walk
a water
away.
bottle at you because you yelled at them or whatever. Just kind of let it go. But obviously, I guess you're right. I'm being logical, but I'm being logical to an illogical situation in person because I know Nate Diaz is the type of guy to do that. So I'm
Yep.
saying don't even
try.
just let it go.
Let the cheetah walk.
I don't
walk
even
by.
know why you would antagonize the cheetah.
Let the lion eat.
Don't yell at Nate Diaz's
Yeah.
team because you know they're going to confront you outside. If
Exactly.
he throws a water bottle at you, be like, "All right, bro, whatever."
We're
and
getting the
just
fuck
let
out
it
of
go
because I'm not
because
getting
you
choked
know
out.
you know what the possible outcome is going to be. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying
that was crazy.
don't poke the bear. Essentially, the
Yep.
bear shouldn't attack you, but also don't poke the
A
bear.
lot of animal analogies right now.
'Cause it makes sense. It
I
makes
know. I
sense.
understand. I understand.
Yeah,
I
it's,
get it. Don't poke fucking Nate Diaz. Okay, I get it. I'm not gonna poke him. Okay, I'm not gonna poke him. I'm not gonna do it.
Do I
All
want
right.
Nate
That
Diaz
was
to
pretty
run into
crazy,
Conor
though.
McGregor and his team? Yeah, that would be awesome.
NBA. Oh yeah, do it somewhere in Vegas,
But-
please.
What did you expect?
Exactly. All right, let's move on to some other MMA news. We have more fights announced for International Fight Week, UFC 290. The biggest one, we'll start at the top here, was Robert Whittaker and Dracus du Plessis was announced. It will be 3 rounds. It will be there in Las Vegas. And the winner of that fight will fight Adesanya sometime in the fall in Australia is where they're saying. They're trying to get that in Sydney, Australia, that fight.
Adesanya really wants Dricus to win.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he does.
wants him
I'm
to
sure
win.
he does. But Whitaker, my guy, is
Which
gonna
is
fuck him up. Like, let's
I'm
be real.
Bobby Knuckles till the day I
Yeah,
die.
Bobby Knuckles gonna
But
piece him up.
if Bobby makes a mistake and Dricus wins, I do want to see that fight between Duplessis and Adesanya, just because I want something fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I want Robert to be champ one day, but I just can't keep watching these. For some reason, this trilogy is uninteresting to me at this point.
It'd be it would be a trilogy. Yeah, you're
It
right.
would be a trilogy, and that may sound hypocritical because I could see Figgy and Moreno fighting a million times and be satisfied, but with this trilogy, it's just
We know
I
what's
don't
gonna
know.
happen,
It's Roberts needs to wrestle him to the ground for 5 rounds,
and that's what he
beat the
tried to do
shit
in the
out of
last
him.
fight, but he didn't do it.
And
He couldn't.
and you can't stand and bang with Izzy because he's just gonna outpoint you, and it's gonna be a super thin close decision. So I don't know. I think Roberts just got to take. If Robert wants a shot, he's got to take Dricus down, beat the shit out of him. And I think Robert's obviously one of the greatest fighters in the middleweight division, future Hall of Famer, but Dricus is a very good, kickboxer, and his striking's really, really, really good.
And
So
he's tough.
I think this is going to be one of Whitaker's harder fights, in my opinion. I don't think Dricus is going to go out there and just get KO'd. I think people aren't giving him his credit, even if he is, a little silly goose online. It's hard because I want Robert to win because I'm a Robert fan, but I would like to see the Adesanya fight between him and Duplessis. How do you guys feel about that?
I completely disagree. I'm on the side of like I'm very very excited. If Robert Whitaker goes out there and beats Duplessis, I want to see it a third time. It's the same situation for me and Holloway and Volkanovski. It's like, if the guy keeps going out there and beating the best of the world and deserves that third opportunity, or in Max Holloway's situation, the fourth opportunity, I think they should take it. I think if anyone should realize that, and I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't, Izzy. I'm not saying you don't. But would be someone like Israel Adesanya. 3 opportunities against Alex Pereira. Yes, 2 of them were in a different organization, kickboxing. I understand that. But the first one was MMA, lost in MMA, and then got that rematch and beat Alex Pereira. So I think in the same sort of capacity where you do have an opponent that you have lost to so many times, but if Robert is that guy and he keeps going out there and beating the best and the best of the world, I'm 100% fine with him getting another
I
opportunity.
wholeheartedly agree, and I feel like maybe you misunderstood me a bit about that. I'm not against the trilogy at all. I think if a guy wins, no matter how many times he loses, he works his way back up, he should get a shot 100%.
Yeah.
I think we both agree on that. I'm just, what it is for me is I like Adesanya. He's one of my favorite, if not favorite, but I also like Robert. So if Robert were to lose again, I don't like that because I like him. That's what it is for me.
Yeah, I feel that.
And if Adesanya were to lose, like, okay, give him another shot. Obviously, the immediate rematch. But it's like I don't like watching two. It's like you have a favorite team and they play your second favorite team. You're like, well, I want this team to win, but I also like this team. So it's kind of that's what it is for me. Not that I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see either of them lose.
Right.
And it's not going to be a draw.
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
That's where it's for me. How do you feel about that, Tabor?
No, I agree with you guys 100%. Regardless of who wins that fight, like it's going to be a big matchup and it's going to be a big money fight. They're going to sell out that arena in Sydney, Australia, whether it's they got half South Africa's there or whether it's just a bunch of
Which
Aussies.
I think is a great fight, and I think that's what they were penning for anyway, for Volk to have Volk and Izzy on the same card.
I gotta say though, for international, and no disrespect to either guy, okay, no disrespect here, but bro, international fight week card is kind of fucking weak.
Is it because we were
about
spoiled last year though? Is that why it feels like that?
Bro,
or no?
It's because International Fight Week historically, like we can go back year after year after year. It has always been big fights.
Dude, they're not done. They're not done.
Well, they just announced the co-main and they just announced the main event. The main event for International Fight Week is Brandon Moreno, Alexander Pantoja.
No, it's not. It's Volkanovski versus Yair. It's
not. They have not announced that. This is the main event as it sits. Main event. Brandon Moreno, and then Dana White on the video, if you watch the video, says the co-main event on July 8th will be Robert Whitaker versus Dricus Duplessis. Come on, man. This is International Fight Week. Like
they're going to get that Volkanovski fight done. I thought it was done. They must just not be 100% official. They announced it, though.
Let's hope so. I mean, it's International Fight Week. We need to have at least 2 title
There
fights on
there
the
is
card.
one more fight being added. It's just to be announced. We all assume, everyone assumes it's the Volk fight, but it's not done. And like I said, with the Australia card, what better way
Yeah.
for Volk to win than in Australia?
Right.
So I think maybe he's just deciding.
Maybe
Possibly.
if he wants to
But
wait for
The
the
fight
international
with
fight.
fight-
Izzy, but they're working on something. It could be we get see the Valentina fight. They could add that, which I know
Mhm.
some people don't like. I do personally.
I would love to see it
I
because
would
she lost.
I
so it'd
I
be
would love
good.
to see it.
I'd like to see it.
And I think maybe they'll add. They're definitely not done. There's only 4 fights announced on this card.
Yeah, they're not
We got
done.
Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker,
That's another one that's
Robbie
just been
Lawler,
announced.
Nico Price,
Yeah.
Whitaker, Jacobs Duplessis, Brendan Moreno, Alexander Pantoja. So they're definitely adding another title fight. As to what that is, we can only speculate. And then I think they're going to stack this card up fairly well. So as of right now, I understand where you're coming from. I just think let's give it, a month or 2, and then we'll see how it turns out. But there's definitely going to be another fight.
They're
So
going to need these fights done soon because like these 8-week training camps are going to come and go quick.
Yeah, dude. We're like 7 days away until we get to May, which is crazy. That'll be 8 weeks,
Mhm.
essentially. So yeah,
it is kind of weird to me that they wouldn't just have Amanda Pena on this card as like a co-main or something
I
like
know.
that.
That's something you.
Well,
could've
they're
done,
doing
but
that in
Canada
Vancouver,
needed
so-
I know they're doing that.
Canada needed that main
They're
event.
doing that in
Canada needed it.
Vancouver, but it's like, why would you not have that fight on there? Why would you not have the Valentina fight on there? Why would you not have more?
Bro, you
but
know what one
You
I
guys
wanna
really
see?
don't want to go to that fight in Vancouver?
No, I don't have a passport anyway. And dude, I'm scared to go to Canada.
You don't need a passport to go to Canada.
Yeah, you do.
You don't.
Yes, you do.
You need a driver's license, my guy.
Well, that's funny because I couldn't go to the AC/DC concert because I didn't have a passport.
They didn't let you go through passport?
Nope.
Wow, dude, I used to go across the border all the fucking time.
in Minecraft, of course. All right, Tabor.
No.
Yeah.
I just think let's give it some. I understand where you're coming from, Mason. I just think let's give it some time, and then we'll see where it goes. They're definitely not done with this card. Dana wouldn't do that. He's going to do the best he can. I just think there's a lot of moving obstacles behind closed doors that we don't see. So I think let's give it another month, and then we can judge it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I might be jumping the gun a little bit. I will agree with that.
All right. Yeah, I don't think we said everything that needed to be said about that card. So let's move on to our preview show. And we got a really good card, actually. Looking at this from top to bottom. I love the
hell
new main
yeah.
event. I love this card, how the way it's developing. We're very excited. Fight Companion coming this Saturday, guys. We will be live in studio for this card. We're gonna be rooting for our boy Ricky. So, whatever time zone you guys are in, figure out what time the main card starts. We'll be going live right then. So make sure you're subscribed down below and hit that bell notification so you know when we do go live this Saturday for our Fight Companion. We have at the top. Let's start here with the main event of the evening. Song Yadong coming at a +110 to a -130. Ricky Simone. Oh my goodness. Are you fucking kidding me or what? How do you think this fight goes down, guys? I'm going to be honest with you. This is a fantastic matchup. I think it's a good one for Ricky, and I also think it's a good one for Song. If this stays primarily on the feet, Ricky's got that power, and Song needs to watch out for that. But Song is so clean, he's so technical, he's so good on the feet. I think he could find some success there. But if Ricky starts implementing that wrestling, which I do think he's going to start chaining those takedown attempts and implementing the striking. He's going to mix it well because that's what he does. I think he takes Song down, and I think he dominates him down there. And I wouldn't be shocked if we see a Ricky Simone submission in this matchup.
I do think that's the most we talk about. I think I don't remember what fight it was. Mason was pretty irritated with, but fighters not utilizing what they need to. I mean, I guess we could go back to like the Curtis Blaydes fight, but it was a different one. So forgive me for forgetting. But fighters not utilizing all the tools in their bag because they just want to stand up or they just want to go for takedowns. Or Ricky's great all around. So against Song, I feel like he's gonna strike, grapple, submission attempts, whatever.
He's going to mix it all up.
He's going to mix it all up, which is exactly what you need to do if you want to win and be champ one day, in my opinion. So I think we're going to see an all-around pretty great fight. Excited because I think this is Ricky's first five-round fight and main event for both of these guys. So really excited how this is going to turn out.
Well, I believe Song's first was Corey.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Or last fight, I should say.
I do think this is going to be Ricky's biggest test, but I am super biased and am going to be behind that and supporting him. And I do think in the later rounds, he's got the cardio to get that done. So
For sure.
Well, here's the thing. Song Yadong, 25 years old. I mean, this kid hit the scene at 20, 21 in the UFC and looked like a world beater, being that young. I mean, this kid is so impressive, and I want to take nothing away from him, and I want to shine a spotlight on him. I'm actually a big fan of Song Yadong as well. Every single time he's on a card, I get really excited because he's got lightning quick hands, man. The footwork is there. The striking is tip-top Magoo. I absolutely love this kid. But on the side of Ricky Simone, Ricky is what Devin just said. Ricky is good everywhere, man. I mean, he's good on the feet. His striking is constantly improving. He's still young, 30 years old, in the prime of his career. Unfortunately, like 5 years ago, he had that setback against Uriah Faber and then lost a decision to Rob Font. But since then has been on an absolute tear in this bantamweight division, winning 5 fights in a row. And the most impressive win that Jack Shore had, or excuse me, that Ricky Simone had, was against Jack Shore in his last fight. He went out there and beat a guy who, 1, was undefeated. 2, everyone was like, oh, this guy's wrestling, this guy's grappling is beyond anything. Ricky's going to have problems with it.
Out-grappled him the whole time.
Out-grappled him the whole time and then submitted his ass in the second round. And that's where it's like, wow, man, Ricky Simone is just good everywhere. So give me some Ricky Simone in this fight. I'm absolutely loving it. I think Ricky can beat him. I'd like to see Ricky really try to mix it up here. Go for those takedowns. Have some level changes. Mix in some striking too, because I think he can strike with Song. But be real careful of that big shot of Song Yadong. I think that's the only way where Song can win is if he's kind of picking and choosing his shots.
He needs to fight from the outside for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if he gets in the pocket with Ricky, I mean, Ricky could hit him with some of those bombs and then get it. Obviously take a leg.
Well, that's the thing too. Ricky gets to the inside. He's more of a brawler too. Anyway, he's gonna pop you with those big hooks, those big uppercuts, and maybe shoot for a takedown and a level change. But that is where I see Ricky Simone winning this fight. And yeah, whatever, guys. We are biased. He's a local guy. We love Ricky Simone on this podcast. But give me Ricky Simone. Ricky, I wish I had more coins to play with, but I don't have that much. Holy fucking shit. Devin collapsed over there. I don't know if he's alive. But I'm giving Ricky Simone 2,000 coins here for the win.
All right. I'm also taking Ricky here. I think he's a great value here at a minus 130. Usually I go with dogs here, but I mean a plus 110 for Song, really betting value wise, just trying to be objective here. I'm going with Ricky. So I do think he's going to win the fight. I think he's a lock. I'm going 5,000 coins on Ricky Simone, and I'm also going Ricky submission, 500 coins on that one.
Yes, I am going Ricky Simone via decision for 500.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup. We have Kyle Baral over at a minus 300 to a plus 240. Mikhail Olenjacek. Mikhail Olenjacek, obviously the ex-husband of Joanna Jędrzejczyk. No, you don't. That joke didn't hit anymore. It used to back in the day. No, not anymore. Shit. Mikhail, yeah.
The lines are pretty heavy, though, man. I mean, the lines are pretty heavy here. Baralo coming in at a minus 300 favorite to a plus 240. Michael. So it's just crazy. Olenjacek. But Olenjacek, here's the thing. Went out there, beat Sam Alvey, TK at one of the most impressive wins ever. Not a lot of guys get a win over Sam Alvey. But what I will say, and then the next fight, though, he went out there and beat Cody Brundage, which is pretty good. That's actually pretty impressive. KO'd him in the first round. But, dude, I have loved Baralo since the time he was on Dana White's Contender Series. I absolutely love this dude. I mean, he's literally got damage tattooed on his neck. What's more gangster than that? It's terrifying.
Dude goes out there and knocks motherfuckers out, but he lost it.
It's not damage. What's tattooed on his neck?
Yeah, you're thinking about the damage.
The damage. It's free something. But
I think it's free
spirit.
Free spirit, whatever it is. I don't know. The neck tat is great. But nonetheless, he's gone out there and gotten 3 really impressive wins in the course of his UFC career. I love Baralo here. Give me Baralo. 900. No, I'm going to go 1,500 coins on Baralo for the win at a heavy favorite minus 300.
All right. I actually agree with you. I think Baralo is a lock in this matchup. I think he's going to knock out Olenjacek, but I would not be shocked. I have seen Mikhail come back from terrible situations, and the dude just looks like he doesn't look like he looks like a dad. Like, it looks like a guy at the bar, like, oh, I could beat that guy up. But no, he's a fucking savage, and he's got a chin of the gods. And sometimes he has these crazy knockouts himself. So I'm actually going with the dog here at a plus 240. I'm going to go 250 coins on Olin Jacek for the win. Let's move on to this next matchup. We have Rodolfo Vieira coming in at minus 280 to a plus 230. Cody Brundage. I'm going to be honest, Rodolfo Vieira, his ground game is so elite. Those submissions can come from anywhere, and he's got a pretty decent hands as well. I think he's going to, if he gets Cody Brundage down to the ground, I think it's only
over.
a matter of time until he gets a sub.
Let me tell you, Rodolfo, he has 8 wins in the UFC, 7 of them by submission, 1 by decision. The guy has never even knocked anyone out in his MMA career. So, I mean, the guy only finishes via submission. And Cody Brundage does have some submission wins, and, one of them over Dolce Lungumbila. He also has Joseph Cropshot. So he has good ground game as well.
But it's not on this guy's level.
It is not on the black belt hunters level at all. And for that reason, Cody Brundage, though, in all fairness, could knock out Rodolfo.
He definitely could.
He went out there and knocked out Trayshawn Gore.
Yeah.
Like right away. So, or I believe that might have been second round. But this could go either way. It's either a Cody Brundage KO, which is what I'd bet on as a prop, or Rodolfo sub. But for me, I'm going to go with the heavy favorite here at a minus 280. I just have to do it. I think Rodolfo's just extremely good on the ground, and he's got one of the coolest nicknames in the UFC, the Black Belt Hunter. I mean, that's pretty cool. So go ahead and give me Rodolfo Vieira here.
Yeah, I'd probably go on the sub bet there, or the prop bet there. 100%. So I was out there betting. Yeah, I'm not shocked you're taking Vieira, but once again, at a minus 280, it just, fuck it. Like, why not? I got a little money to spare. I'm going to go with the dog here, Cody Brundage. I'm going to be betting on that Cody Brundage KO. Hopefully it comes early, because the longer it comes, the less of a chance in my opinion. So they're at a plus 230. I'm going to put 250 on Brundage.
I need to correct myself. I was wrong. My apologies to Rodolfo Vieira. He does have his 8 wins. It wasn't a decision win. He did get a KO win. So shout out to you, Rodolfo. You did get a KO win. My bad.
All right, next matchup, we have Julian Erosa at a minus 182 plus 185.
I love this
Fernando Padilla. I don't know who Padilla is. Is he a Contender Series guy?
No, he was a Fury FC guy. This is his first fight in the UFC. So he used to fight in multiple organizations, LFA, KOTC, CFX, or CXF, LFA, Fury FC, but he's finally getting a shot in the UFC. He's a relatively young kid, 26 years old, with a record of 14 wins and 4 losses. All 4 of those losses coming via decision. So he's a tough kid to put away. 4 KO victories, 8 submission victories, and 2 decision. So it appears to be a very well-rounded fighter.
All right.
What's crazy, too, is featherweight division, he's 6'1".
Oh, that's wow. Wild. Long and lengthy. So Julian Erosa is going to have to find a way to get inside. And I don't think he's the best guy at trying to get inside like that. I wouldn't be shocked if they're setting Padilla up here nicely and he's coming in as a dog. I might take the new guy. Why not? I want to put a little money out there. The squad's betting, taking a little risk. Let's go Padilla 250 at a plus 155.
Yeah, I just I like Julian Erosa in this spot here. He is coming off a loss to Alex Caceres. He did get head kick knocked out in that fight, which was pretty rough. That was back in December of 2022. So he has taken about five or so months off. But before that, we got to look at his record. I mean, he had some really impressive wins up until that fight, and he was on that trajectory to get a top 15 like a guy like Alex Caceres. So a minor setback for him, but he did fight a lot in 2021 and 2022. He beat Charles Jourdain, Steven Peterson, and then Hakeem Dawodu.
Yeah, those are all big names.
All big names, So he did have a setback. He did get knocked out, but I'm still going with my guy, Julian Erosa here. I like him a lot. I know he's coming in at the favorite at minus 180. Don't mind that value here. So go ahead and give me 1,800 on Julian Erosa for the win.
All right, let's go Marcos Rodrigo de Lima at a plus 150 to or a minus 150, my apologies, to a plus 125. Waldo Cortez Acosta. Where's Waldo himself is making his UFC return here as the dog, 9-0 undefeated against a savage Rodrigo de Lima. So Rodrigo de Lima, that's the guy that we thought was 150 years old, but he's really 20.
Yeah, it's like him and RoboCop. For whatever reason, they look the same when it comes to that, where you're just like, this guy's 90 years old. But no, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima is only 37.
And he's a savage.
Yeah.
He's got fucking heavy hands.
Yeah, 20-8. 20 wins, 8 losses, 14 of those coming KO, baby. 3 by submission, 3 decision. That's crazy. I mean, even for a heavyweight, which historically they finish fights, I mean, to have 14 KOs out of your 20 wins is really impressive.
Super impressive. And you got Where's Waldo himself, undefeated still. Going as a dog, man. You know, this is a great matchup. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who's going to win this one. They're going to go in there and they're going to bang, baby. I might be going with Waldo. Fuck it. I'm going with a bunch of dogs tonight.
Yeah, you are.
Let's go with Where's Waldo 500. I'm going with the dogs. I'm thinking that the dogs are going to come through. And yeah, I could see him knocking out Rodrigo.
Yeah, he could. He could. But man, for me, I just like the experience here. Waldo's great. You know, he's undefeated. But I just don't think he has had the level of competition that Marcos Rodrigo de Lima has had, you know, and it's really hard to finish de Lima. You know, he typically gets submitted, and I don't see Waldo having a great submission game. So for me here, I'm going to lean on the side of the favorite here. Once again, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima at a minus 150. Give me 150 on de Lima.
All right. What's your parlay this week, Mason? My parlay is going to be a 2-5 parlay. I'm going to go with Ricky Simone and Waldo. Where's Waldo Cortez? One favorite, one dog. It's probably a decent return. I'm going to be honest. There's like a lot of fights on this card that could just go either way. So like, I'm not really confident in a big parlay here. So yeah, Ricky and Waldo, 500.
Okay. So I am going to go my parlay this week. I'm going to go Ricky Simone, Caio Borralho, and Julian Erosa. And I'm all in. So whatever I have left, which I think is like 400 approximately.
Okay.
So.
Cool. All in.
Yep.
All righty then. Mason, what is on the agenda today for the Big Screen Boys over on Tremendous Studios YouTube channel?
So Cash won't be here this week. He had a little vacation. Some family members came in, so he's at the beach enjoying his weekend. But I got Jimmy and Devin here, I think, this week. So we're gonna do a movie news and then maybe a couple trailer reactions and call it good. So
you're not doing a movie review?
No.
What even is out right now? I think I want to go see The Covenant, the Guy Ritchie's film, the one about Afghanistan, getting the fall of Afghanistan.
Yeah. We did a trailer reaction to that. Yeah, it looked pretty stereotypical, but yeah, it might be good. I might give it a shot.
Every movie that's like that is all the same, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's just, it's gunfire, it's fucking, people dying.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
I might check it out. I don't know. There's just so many films that I want to see. I'd rather go see like Beau is Afraid than
I never heard of that.
That looks pretty.
It looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I would definitely watch that. Yeah. Are you guys gonna watch the new Evil Dead movie?
Yeah, no. We were planning on reviewing that this week before he went to the beach.
I wish you would have told me.
I don't like horror movies.
Well, no, we know you're a little.
I don't know. I've never liked horror movies, and neither is Kelsey. So like, we just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, she's one of the people that just loves decorating for Halloween.
Yeah,
that is
it make sense.
Yeah, not a fan of horror movies. But all right, is there anything else we need to plug before I get into Patreon and all that stuff?
Follow me on Instagram at I am Masonite. That's about it.
Fantastic. Absolutely tremendous. Guys, go to Tremendous Digital Network on Patreon. That is where we post our exclusive content. Not only do you get Big Screen Boys, you get Tremendous Studios content over there, but you also get the Pound for Pound MMA pod content over there. Second Service podcast, exclusive live streams. Also, we did a fight opinion last night, guys. We watched the boxing events with Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. Oh my goodness, what a finish there at the end with the body shot. Absolutely fantastic. So go check that out. That is on our YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed down below. Also hit that bell notification so you can be notified next time we go live. We will be live next Saturday for this fight companion, Ricky Simone, Song Yadong. So show up when the main card starts. We'll be live, guys. So we're very excited about that one. The wheel will be out. So we'll be taking those super chats and stuff like that. So very excited. Can't wait for that. Also, guys, go to our social media accounts. If you are not following us already, we're posting funny memes. We're trying to make you guys laugh. So hit us up there at P4P MMA Pod on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the same. So check it out. That's it.
All right. right. Thank you guys so much for watching the Pound for
We were
Pound
waiting for the.
MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That's Tabor Craig and Devin Davis on the ones and twos. And until next time,
Peace.